Hello, YouTubers, and welcome back to another episode of The Grandstand here on the Ohio Patriot Education Network YouTube channel. I'm, as always, your host, AR the Ohio Patriot. And for today's episode of The Grandstand, we're going to talk, obviously, about the state of Ohio, and specifically about the one person, one vote PAC. I think it's a PAC. I'm not exactly sure, honestly. They claim to be a bipartisan grassroots group, which they're fucking not. They're 100% a leftist organization, is what it is. Of a bunch of damn liars, and they're also globalist backed by George Soros and Michael Bloomberg, among other people, is what it is right now. So, yeah, we're going to basically call out the entire BS Vote No campaign for all these asshole organizations backing it, which include every town and Moms Demand Action, as well as other anti-gun groups on top of that, plus a bunch of baby killers and Planned Parenthood and pro-abortion organizations and stuff like that is what it is throughout the state of Ohio, which I guarantee we're getting Soros money or Bloomberg money or something else for that matter. And I wouldn't be surprised, honestly, just looking at some of these, since at least one was a rehab center, if it was basically either George Soros, his son Alex Soros, or Michael Bloomberg proxies going to them and being like, "Hey, y'all want $100,000? Okay, cool. Just go on this Vote No campaign with us and join us as one of the groups against it." So yeah, it's funny to me too, because it's like the left doesn't understand that like we on the right and the center can actually do research where their dumbasses never do. And it's not like we're not going to look into this stuff and like see it and call it out for what it is what it is. So yeah, needless to say, we need to vote yes in August, 100%. Ohio is one of only 9 states currently that do not have a 60% or higher threshold to change our state constitution. That needs to change. We need to be number 42 on that list. That causes that to happen. And the biggest problem I have with the people, especially on Reddit right now, that are lying about this shit constantly is what it is. They're sitting there going on whole tirades about like, oh, well, it's just trying to fuck over voter initiatives. It's even like the one person, one vote people behind the attack ad right now. Their whole thing is like, oh, they're trying to gut the state constitution and make it so that people's power don't fucking hold up anymore. No, it's not, you fucking ass clown lying sacks of shit. What it's trying to do is it's trying to create a 60% threshold instead of a 50% plus one vote, which is what you fuckers want to keep in place, especially you fucking cunts and Moms Demand Action, every town, etc. Because I guarantee you, after this abortion shit in November that they're trying to push through, they're going to go and they're going to attack Article 1, Section 4 of the Ohio Constitution, which guarantees us the right to keep and bear arms in the state. And you know damn well, if MDA, Bloomberg, etc., all these other anti-gun, literal fucking Nazi pieces of shit, by the way, who are trying to pull Hitlerian gun registries and gun rosters and everything else like that to disarm us and put us in camps and everything else like that nowadays, you know damn well, if they could keep the 50% plus one vote, they would figure out a way to steal elections at that point, because they have done it before, honestly. They've done it before many, many times in the state. The state in this country, at least the past 3 election cycles, has been stolen for several people at this point now. And the fact that they can do that shit, and they can just install all their little leftist fucking puppetry and stuff like that to be the vote counters in these different counties and the board of elections and stuff like that, you know damn well they would do what they need to do to fucking like throw off a bunch of right-wing votes and stuff like that that would be against that shit. And it would basically be like, oh, look, it passes by like 50.4% or whatever the case be, just like that fucking scumbag Richard Brown down in Columbus area, who I know for a fucking fact, if Frank LaRosa did his job as Secretary of State right now and looked into that race, that, by the way, was less than 150 fucking people, or maybe it was 180 people, something like that. It was less than 200 anyway. That basically was the difference between Brown and Ronald Beach becoming a new state rep is what it is. Yeah, if they had actually done their job down there and been like, this seems fishy as fuck, bro. You know damn well that motherfucker, Richard Brown, would not be in our state house right now for 4th term right now. And he shouldn't be either, for that matter. He should have his punk ass, just like every other fucking cunt in this Democrat Party right now that were in office after Dayton happened 4 years ago, should be in prison right now. They should be in Ohio prisons right now, starting with Alice Russo and Casey Weinstein, who hooks himself literally a month after I was fucking fairly swatted. August 2019, August 12th, 2019. I was fairly swatted. About September 13th, 14th, somewhere in there, is when that piece of shit Casey Weinstein hate hoaxed himself by printing off a bunch of tyrant movies and throwing them in his own mailbox. Never investigated by the feds from his USPS system. Never investigated by anybody for that matter. It's like, oh no, look, a state rep's targeting. Blah, blah, blah. Like, fuck off, Casey, you piece of shit. And then, of course, it's Casey's fucking cunt-ass wife, too, by the way, that I got into it before with. Because she was one of the bitches who was actually taking the stupid petitions to get the fucking baby-killing amendment on the November ballot then. So, yeah. That whole family's just a bunch of scumbags. And, of course, Casey uses dirty politics all the time, talking about him, you know, being part of the old juice crew there is what it is. And it's like, yeah, you can go fuck yourself, bro. But anyway. So to go on and actually talk about the people who are against the August election, issue 1, and by the way, these are the people that are the minority in this state right now, and we're going to call them out each by name at this point and name and shame their asses, because I guarantee a lot of them are, like I said, taking direct ties from Bloomberg or Soros or somebody else for that matter. That's one of their proxy people, like a Shannon Watts type or whatever the Ohio equivalent that would be then, for like the MDA chapter series would be then. So anyway, so we start out, we got a new vision for Ohio, which I'm 99% sure this is a rehab center of some kind. So it's like, yeah, what the fuck do you have to do with anything, dude? You're nothing at that point. Then we got A. Philip Randolph Institute of Ohio. I'm not sure exactly what that is. It's some kind of lefty organization, I believe, if I'm not mistaken. And of course, you got Abortion Fund of Ohio, so abortionists. The literal Soros bought and paid for ACLU of Ohio. Action for the Climate Emergency. I guarantee that that's some like big stop big oil kind of, domestic terrorist organization on the left there. Then we have AFGE, which I'm pretty sure is some kind of union. And then, of course, you got AFGE Local 3448, which actually, let me just go ahead and flip up exactly what that alliteration stands for there. Okay, it's American Federation of Government Employees. So you might as well say it's a little FBI at that point, dude. Seriously. As you might as well say it's like FBI or like some fucking like janitorial service for the federal government or something like that would be then. So yeah, guaranteed leftist orgs. Then we got AFSCME-OCSEA Local 11. And then that is Ohio Council 8. And I guarantee those are some leftist orgs right there. Then we got All on the Line, which I guarantee was some made up fucking org by Soros and company. Probably one of Soros's proxy companies, that's my guess, or Bloomberg proxy companies for that matter, where they literally are just shell corporations for these people to launder their money through is what it is. And then they can actually go and like fuck around with taxation and stuff like that, never pay taxes because of that. Then we got All Voting is Local. Then we have All Voting is Local Action. So I guarantee those are some kind of super PAC then, and both of them are probably made for by leftists. Then we have Emulated Transit Union Local 697, which is probably like some small ass transit company would be my guess. America Votes Ohio. I know for a fact that's a leftist organization that's donated to a bunch of Democrats. American Association of University Women / Ohio. Yeah, so literally a bunch of leftists. Amos Project, which I know for a fact is a lefty organization. ANA Ohio, Ashtabula County AFL CIO-CLC. Not even sure what that is. Then it's Asian Services in Action. And then I'm not even sure I pronounced this one. It's not the letteration of it. Looks like some kind of Latino organization, probably. And then we got Black Environmental Leaders Association and Black Environmental Leaders Action Fund. So literally a super PAC for Democrat Party. Blue Ohio, shocker, another blue org. I'm surprised it didn't say Act Blue Ohio, honestly. Let's see. Then we got Bold New Democracy, some other leftist organization, probably another super PAC would be my guess. Build Back Better USA, so fucking Biden thing. Oh, shocker, here you go. IslamicTerrorism.com, which is what it should be called. Literally Car Ohio and Car Ohio Action Fund. So actual Islamic terrorism in the state of Ohio is what it is. That are against the vote no, or against voting yes in August. Meanwhile, these people, literally the day I was federally swatted 4 years ago, had at least 50 terrorist attacks tied to one of their mosques down in Columbus that were successful and another 50 that were not successful. So, yeah. Maybe they should just shut the fuck up is what it is, man. And the same thing with the rest of the pieces of shit that are against America when you're not American is what it is. So, and I really wouldn't be surprised if a couple of the Somalis that are in our state house currently have ties to this asshole organization, honestly. And of course, after that, we got Central Ohio African American Chamber of Commerce. So some kind of black chamber of commerce, which is just ridiculous. You have to put it as that. Whole thing is like making it a race-based chamber of commerce, not just being part of a chamber of commerce, period. Then we got Central Ohio Housing Action Network, which I'm almost guaranteeing is like Section 8 housing people. Let's see. Then we got CFT 1520. I'm pretty sure that's just a union of some kind. Charles F. Kettering Foundation. I know for a fact that's a leftist organization. Children's Defense Fund Ohio. I'm pretty sure that that's the people that are backing Antifa and BLM terrorism that get criminals off every time there's a riot. Then we got Cincinnati AFL/CIO, Labor Council, Cleveland Federation of Musicians Local 4 AMF. So a bunch of people that are about music. Like, seriously. Like, what the fuck does that have to do with voter threshold, dude? Like, half of these organizations don't even have anything to do with this shit. They're not political. They're just a bunch of assholes being bought and paid by Soros and Bloomberg, et cetera, is what it is, man, like I said. And, of course, you got the Cleveland Heights Dems Club, so Democrat organization. Cleveland Jobs with Justice. So pretty sure that that's probably some shell company that actually is all about embezzlement. Cleveland Votes, another Democrat org. Coffee with Democrats Ohio, another Democrat org. Columbus Community Bill of Rights. I actually looked into this one last night, and it's literally just some piece of shit organization down in Columbus who are just embezzlers, really, is what it is, dude. They've been embezzling since they were created several years back, is what it was now. I think they were some of the ones that were supposedly trying to fight against the amendment back in 2013 when Casey's basically fucked our state into a two-party primary system. But they haven't done shit since then because they're a bunch of scumbags, is what it is, dude. And of course, you got Columbus Community Rights Coalition, which is probably tied directly to the Columbus Community Bill of Rights people. And then we got Common Cause Ohio. Now, for that fact, that's a leftist organization. Communications Workers of America, District 4, so some union. Community Development for All People. Conversation Ohio. I know for a fact that's like some black org is what it is for Democrats. Contact Center. Cornbread and Collards, whatever the fuck that is. Probably some dude's YouTube channel is my guess, honestly. Let's see. Crooked River Action. Cuyahoga County Progressive Caucus, so literally like an AOC style org is what it is. Dayton area SURJ. Delta Sigma Thea Society Inc. So literally Sorority Inc. So basically some dipshit leftist sorority in the state of Ohio. Then it starts getting better from here. Democrat Feminist Alliance. So literally a bunch of third wave feminist Nazis is what it is, dude. A bunch of third wave Nazis. Let's see. Democratism Action. Doctors Organized for Healthcare Solutions, aka a bunch of abortionists is what it'd be on that one. And Citizens United / Let America Vote. So George Soros backed org. Equality Ohio, which is literally the terrorist rainbow mafia there. And then it gets even better from there. Every Town for Gun Safety, because of course Michael Bloomberg directly backs the shit, dude, for a voting no campaign in August, because he wants the 50% plus one vote, because he knows he can fuck our state constitution over and take away our gun rights after the fact. They try to pull this shit, dude. It's why we need that 60% threshold. It's why people need to vote yes in August, period, dude. Fuck Bloomberg, fuck Every Town, fuck Mom's Demand, fuck every anti-gun organization that's on this damn list, and fuck all the abortionists too, for that matter. So I'm going to stop these baby-killing fuckers once and for all, dude. After Every Town, we got Fair Districts, Ohio, which I guarantee if you actually talk to these people, what they really mean is leftist districts of Ohio, because that's really what it is. They're supposedly some anti-gerrymandering organization, but in reality, they don't give a shit that the Democrats gerrymander every major city in the state. Or sorry, every county has a major city in the state to have like 10 or 12 different seats in that county is what it is. And it's the only reason why you have 30 Democrats in the state house right now, because you have legitimately like 10 or 11 from Columbus, another 9 or 10 from Cleveland, another 5 or 6 from Dayton, another 5 or 6 from Cincinnati area. There's what it is. And a couple from Toledo area then to make up the actual 32 right now. So anyway, then we got Faith Choice Ohio. So literally some like supposed faith-based political action committees would be then. Faith in Public Life and Faith in Public Life Action. So not action, public act, PAC, PAC, probably super PAC. Field Team 6, Fire Finished Limited, Forest Hill Church Presbyterian. It's interesting too when you know some of these churches on here. So it's Presbyterians Lutheran, by the way, that are backing the Vote No campaign here. And what's funny to me is if you notice who's behind these churches, it's all a bunch of minorities that have voted Democrat 100% of the time for their entire lives is what it is. So, yeah, It's just people that are fucking too stupid to realize they're being fucked over by the Democrat Party is what it is, man. And then we got Forward United, Ohio. And then going up to the rest of the list here, you got 4 other parts of this. Shocker. Fraternal Order of Police of Ohio. So the same fucking cocksuckers who were behind trying to fuck over constitutional carry and stand your ground in the state in the past 3 years. And have also been against Second Amendment Preservation Act that's currently going through our state house right now. So yeah, fuck you, FOP Ohio. You literal fucking Bloomberg back sacks of shit. I know for a fact you fuckers are taking direct money ties to Michael Bloomberg, dude. You've been directly bribed by his mom's main action cunts many times in our state house right now. Fuck all y'all. And then we got Freedom Bloc, spelled BLOC. And if I looked into that one hard enough, you would find direct ties to Antifa terrorism on that one, dude, because that's exactly how they always spell block, is with no K at the end of it. It's always BLOC. So yeah, I might as well say Antifa terrorists on that list there. Let's see, Guyana Democrats and Friends. Grandview Ignite, which is literally where Alex Russo's district is right there. So that's probably some org that she fucking is backing is what it is then or something, or has direct ties to. Grassroot Ohio, because you can't actually use the word roots. I'm sorry, Grassroot Ohio radio / podcast. So some dumbasses podcast is what it is. Let's see, Greater Cleveland Congregation. So some, Democrat org. Hall of Fame Cleveland. Hall of Fame CLC. Then we got Harness Cycle. Heal Ohio, which is some mental illness thing, if I'm not mistaken. Heartbeat Movement Inc., which supposedly if you're for heartbeats or whatever, which I'm assuming is probably actually like heart attacks or something like that, I guess would be what it is. But yeah, if you're for like supposed like human heartbeats, like why are you voting against this amendment when you know for a fact that 2 months after this August election, 3 months after this August election, you would have these baby killing pieces of shit trying to kill more kids in the womb? Doesn't make any sense, man. Let's see, then we got Heartland Conference, United Church of Christ. So another anti-God Church of Christ, supposedly. An affront to Jesus is what it really is, honestly, on that one, dude. Here's my thing, right? So what's funny to me is you have these Democrats talking about separation of church and state, yet their actual churches that are pro baby killing and pro, trans shit and trying to, turn all these kids into generation sterilization is what it is at the end of the day, are all backing the campaign against the August election. Which tells me everything I need to know about your demon asses at that point. Tells me everything I need to know about you fucking people as being the demons that you are. Because if you weren't demons, you wouldn't be against the actual issue 1. You would want our state to be more reinforced. You would want to be harder to change the state constitution. You would want to actually have kids be able to be born alive. You'd want to have kids not be fucking sterilized with genital mutilation surgeries and stuff like that. But no, you fuckers want that shit because you're sick fucks is what it is, dude. And what's even worse is it goes back, and like I said, with Democrats bitching about like the whole separate church-state stuff, yet they're all a bunch of hypocrites about that, number 1. And then number 2, they also, it's basically the happy cake and eat it too kind of thing, because they'll sit there and be like, oh, but look, all these churches are for it or whatever. It's like, okay, are they also tax exempt? Because if they are, they need to lose tax exemption immediately is what it is, dude. For backing this bullshit is what it is. So anyway, again, I wouldn't be surprised at least if half these, churches on this list actually had like $100,000, $200,000, $1 million thrown at the congregation and stuff from Soros or Bloomberg or whatever. Because to Bloomberg and George Soros, it's, nothing. It's a fucking drop in the bucket to these people is what it is, man. So anyway, let's see, continuing on here. Got Honesty for Ohio Education, which I guarantee is some leftist organization. Human Rights Campaign, by the way, the Human Rights Campaign, their dumbass spokesperson was in Congress the other day where she could not actually talk about the differences of biology between men and women and falsely claimed that dudes couldn't beat Serena or Venus Williams in a tennis match when they were both beaten at their prime by some dude who was like 250th or whatever in the world at the time, at that point in history. So, yeah, just a bunch of idiots, dude, is what it is. Going down from there, we got IBEW Local 212, so another Democrat union is what it is. Then we got Invisible Appalachian Ohio and Strongsville, Innovation Ohio, Inter-Community Justice and Peace Center. That actually sounds like some terrorist organization, honestly, right there. Like some Islamic terrorist organization or something. Maybe a BLM terrorist organization for that matter. Then we got Interreligious Task Force on Central America. So George Soros-backed organization is what that looks like to me, honestly, right there. You're talking about a task force for Central America. This is the United States of America. That is not Central America, dude. So unless you're trying to bring illegals to our fucking borders through NGOs like your asses, which I guarantee is what's happening there. So you might as well be talking about pedophile trafficking right there is what that people probably are, man, is what my guess would be, honestly. Anyway. Yeah, human trafficking, a bunch of pedophiles there. Then we got, after that on the list, it's IUE-CWA, so another weird org. Then we got Lead Ohio. Then, of course, we got the Leftist League of Women Voters Ohio, Licking County CLC, Logan County Grassroots Dems, Love Boldly, whatever the hell that is, Luminous Solutions Inc., so probably like some random ass people that do lighting or something, Medina County Invisible, Miami Valley Lutheran Universalist Fellowship, so literally some Lutheran church, Mobilize the Vote NEO. And then, of course, here's where it gets good again. Moms Demand Action. Shocker. Shocker that both Bloomberg anti-gun orders are on this site. Move to amend Miami County, Ohio. So it's probably some people that are trying to do some, like, get rid of the county commissioners there in Miami, Ohio, and they can't do it, obviously. National Association of Social Workers, Ohio chapter. So a bunch of actual pieces of crap is what it is there. National Council of Jewish Women / Cleveland. I can almost guarantee that Casey Weinstein's wife has direct ties to that org right there, dude. Then we got North Ridgeville Education Association, so a bunch of anti-gun teachers who are trying to push the transgenderism crap on the kids in schools. North Shore AFL / CIO, Federation of Labor, so a union of some kind. North Lutheran Universalist Congregation, another most likely black churches are my guess. Northeast Ohio Black Health Coalition, Northeast Ohio Voter Advocates, Northwest Ohio Feminist Alliance Invisible, so another feminist org. And here's where it gets good again. Northwest Ohio Trans Advocacy. By the way, these were the same fucking people, that last org, who were down in Columbus less than 6 months ago, multiple times, trying to do insurrections in the state house, dude. Because they were all against the fucking child sterilization amendments and stuff like that, because they want these kids fucking sterilized because they're a bunch of sick fuckers is what it is, dude. A bunch of damn pedophiles is what it really is. Those people willing to call themselves the word be Northwest Ohio pedophile advocacy people. Anyway, continuing on down the list, you got Ohio Association of Professional Firefighters, so some scumbag union of firefighters. OAPSE / AFSCME, Ohio AFL-CIO, Ohio AFSCME Retiree, Chapter 1184, Ohio Alliance for Community Education, so literally a bunch of communists is what those people really are. Ohio Alliance for Retired Americans, Ohio Alliance for Retired American Educational Fund, so some super PAC is what would be there. Ohio Citizens Action, a Soros PAC, Ohio Civil Service Employees Association, Ohio Coalition of Labor Union Women, so some labor union, Ohio Conference AAUP, Ohio Consumers Power Alliance, Ohio Education Association, which I guarantee is a leftist organization. They're the ones that are all for keeping guns out of schools and stuff like that, and not a lot of teachers be armed to stop actual terrorists in this country. Ohio Environmental Council, Ohio Environmental Council Action Fund, so literally Soros-backed people. Ohio Fair Courts Alliance. If that were true, you wouldn't have dudes being forced on the hook for child support when the kids don't even have theirs half the fucking time. Or you'd be actually advocating for fathers to have their children in many cases when the mother is an unfit parent. See, Ohio Families Unite for Political Action and Change, so literally leftist organization. Ohio Federation of Teachers, Ohio Iron Workers Association, Ohio Nurses Association. That Ohio Nurses Association, by the way, are the same people that were killing your people on vents 3 years ago. Let's see, Ohio Organizing Collaborative, so some commie organization. Ohio Physicians for Reproductive Rights, aka an abortionist people that need to have their fucking medical license stripped immediately, is what that is, dude. Ohio Religious Action Center of Reform Judaism. So, another Soros backdoor, probably. Ohio State Building and Construction Trades Council. Ohio Student Activist Alliance, which I guarantee has direct ties to Bloomberg. Ohio Student Association. Ohio Students for a National Health Program. And again, this is where it gets good. Ohio Students for Gun Legislation. So really what it means is Ohio Students for Anti-Gun Legislation is what they really mean. I'm pretty sure I actually saw this organization come about. This is about, I'm trying to think now, maybe like February or March of this year is when it first heard about it in the news there, because it didn't exist before then, is what it was. There are a bunch of asshole 14 and 15-year-old kids who have been so traumatized their entire fucking lives through lockdowns and then the shamdemic 3 years ago is what it was. And they're sitting there trying to push for gun control is what it is, dude. You can fuck off on that one, children. Seriously. Fuck all y'all. This is why you don't have voting rights at 18 by default, you jackasses, because you're not mentally fit to have voting rights in this country ever again, is what it is. Until you seriously have flaky vowels and get your heads right. Anyway, continuing on with this, then we got Ohio Unity Coalition, Ohio Voice, Ohio Voter Fund, Ohio Voter Rights Coalition. By the way, all these are leftist organizations. Ohio Women's Alliance and Ohio Women's Alliance Action Fund, so a literal Democrat super PAC. Ohioans for Church-State Separation, which is fucking hilarious because you have all these churches that are on this as well. So why don't you deal with the people that are actually on this in your Lutheran and Presbyterian churches, ladies? So anyway, then we got Ohioans for Reproductive Freedom. By the way, Ohioans for Reproductive Freedom is the main organization besides Planned Parenthood that is actually the ones trying to push the November baby killing amendment into our state constitution. So fuck all these people, dude, for real. Then we got One Fair Wage, so a literal organization that's all about doing minimum wage hikes and stuff like that, even though you're not able to actually live on a minimum wage. And there's the point of that, because you're not meant to actually be living on minimum wage. It's the minimum you can make at a job. Go get a better job. Go get better fucking schooling. Go back and get a trade and make better money that way. Seriously. We're in demand for plumbers right now like crazy, people. If you want to do better in this country, if you want to make a better life for yourselves, get into the plumbing industry right now as a skilled trade. Seriously. We are coming to a point of a little shit show pretty soon here in the next couple of years, dude, where there's going to be more work for plumbers than there's plumbers that exist right now, because all these plumbers are in their fucking 50s and 70s right now. If you're in your teens, 20s, go get a plumbing thing. We got OPAWL/Building AAPI, Feminist Leadership, so a little feminist org. Let's see, then we got UPEIU Local 1794. Then we got Organize Ohio, which I guarantee is a leftist organization. Oxford Association of Democratic Activists, so literally Democrat terrorism is what it is. Our Revolution Ohio, a literal communist terrorist organization, by the way. Partners in Democracy, another lefty organization. People's Justice Project, another lefty organization. Physicians Action Network, another bunch of these sickos that are trying to sterilize children for life. Then, of course, you got Planned Parenthood Advocates of Ohio, so literally baby killing people that are also sterilizing kids with HRT drugs, etc. Policy Matters Ohio, another lefty organization. Policy Wonk Media. Pro-Choice Ohio, which I'm pretty sure is one of like the 4 or 5 orgs that's actually for the baby killing amendment to be added to our constitution in November. Progress NEO. Promise of Democracy Foundation. Protect Choice Ohio, so another abortion rights org is what it is. And we got Public Citizen. Rank the Vote Ohio, so people want ranked choice voting in Ohio so their Democrats can actually take over our state house. That's what it is. Fuck y'all, man. Reach NEO. Red, Wine, and Blue, who I'm pretty sure were created during the shamdemic to literally do wine with the wine because they're a bunch of alcoholics. Represent Us, so a lefty organization again. Ride Share to Vote, get the fuck out of here. Ruralorganizing.org. Save Our Family is kind of funny because that's exactly what the 6% threshold would be doing, is saving the families from your child sterilization and actual mass murder of the unborn right now, you douchebags. SEIU District 1199, West Virginia, Kentucky, Ohio. So some union from all three other states. SEIU Local 1, Sensible Movement Coalition, Secular Humanist of Western Lake Erie. So literally some affront to God org is what it is that claims to be spiritual. Let's see, Shawnee Central Labor Union or Labor Council, Sierra Club, Ohio, which I know for a fact these fuckers have always backed pieces of shit like Nan Whaley and other baby killers in the last couple election cycles and stuff. Single Payer Action Network, Ohio, which is basically for Medicare, Medicaid people, if I'm not mistaken, which is kind of funny because it was them that actually helped Obama pass that crap several years back now. Solidarity Health Network, Inc., Southeast Progressives of Franklin County, so literal domestic terrorists, Democrats is what it is, the AOC types of the world. Springfield/Dayton area UAW CAP Council, Stand Up America, Stonewall Dems of Stark County. By the way, for those who don't know what Stonewall is, it's the literal place that they had the gay stuff happen in New York City back in, I believe it was the late 60s or early 70s, that started the whole gay and trans movement, and then eventually the Pride Month and shit like that now. So quite literally a bunch of actual pedophiles is what the people really are at the end of the day. Sun Lion Energy, so some energy company. T-Built Construction Services, Inc., the Carl Stokes Brigade, which I'm pretty sure is a terrorist organization, the CEO Project, the Charles F. Kettering Foundation, the Cincinnatus Association, the Hunger Network in Ohio, Ohio Coalition for Police Accountability and Transparency, so literally BLM terrorist organization, what that one is. Ohio Coalition to End Qualified Immunity, which, by the way, I've actually talked to these people before, and I thought we were on the same side, but apparently not, because we were all for ending qualified immunity, but then they went full asshole and were trying to talk shit on me for being pro-issue one when they're a bunch of anti-issue one cocksuckers, because I guarantee that they're all for literally allowing minorities to kill cops is what it is in this country, and they can fuck themselves on that one. So anyway, we got Ohio Council of YMCAs. By the way, it was the YWCAs. It was one of the YWCAs recently that allowed some dude in a woman's fucking changing room to show his dick off to kids. Then we got Ohio Voter Rights Coalition, which is more or less Democrat voter rights is what it really would be. The Resistors of Central Ohio, Third Act Ohio, Toledo Persists, Tri-County Regional Labor Council, so another labor union place. Another labor union place after that, which is UWA/UWA Region 2B. UCUS Human Trafficking Coalition, which I guarantee for a fact is the ones that are working with Soros to human traffic people into this country. USCW Local 75. UFCW Local 880, UFCW Local 1059, so a bunch of unions, all the same people. I believe that is food people, if I'm not mistaken. I looked at that last night. It's some kind of food service workers kind of people or whatever. Then we got Lutheran Universalist Fellowship of Athens, so basically some Lutheran church. Lutheran Universalist Justice Ohio, so basically their super PAC is what it would be then. United Ohio Workers Local 1250, United Steelworkers District 1, Upper Ohio Valley CLC, USW Local 7L, Voting Matters, We Are Ohio. No, you're not. You are the fucking scumbag minority of Ohio, is what you really are. Let's see, West Central Ohio LCL, Workers United Local 2843, Women's Fund of Greater Cincinnati Foundation, Worcester Corridor Democratic Club, Young Latino Network, so probably a bunch of illegal aliens. They're all DACA recipients, my guess. Youngstown Warren Black Caucus, YWCA Columbus, and finally YWCA Mahoning Valley. And y'all can go fuck yourselves. Every single one of your organizations that are on that list need to be investigated right now for child abuse. child abuse, child transitioning stuff, literal fucking baby killing, medical license stripping, everything else like that, dude. And the fact that you have at least 3 different gun organizations on that list that are all anti-gun, being Everytown, Moms Demand Action, and then some student one that Bloomberg helped create there, does not surprise me. Actually, I'm surprised there wasn't more than that on there, to be honest with you guys. Truthfully, I'm actually kind of surprised that Students Demand Action wasn't on that list as well, because they've been pretty here in Ohio. But I think maybe it's because there's not enough people in them anymore, is what it would be then, because they know that they've already lost the fucking war at this point. And that's what it really is, right? They know that they've lost the war in the long run, so they're trying to do like stop gaps in the midterms is what it is here, and like the various, middle ground stuff and move the goalposts again to fuck us all over is what it ends up being then. Because they know for a fact if they can do that and they can screw this country over and screw the state over, that they can sit there and try to take away our rights. They can sit there and I feel like this is what would happen, honestly. Like, big picture scenario right now we're going to talk about. Obviously, you have Everytown, Moms Demand Action, etc., backing the vote no thing because they want to keep the 50% plus 1 vote threshold is what it is. Because they know if they can, like I said earlier, they know if they can get their cheating ways in there, they can basically pass shit. So what would they do? They would do something to get rid of Article 1, Section 4 of the Ohio Constitution that guarantees our right to keep and bear arms in the state. Then from there, where they probably either that same piece of legislation or maybe something else for that matter, they would then come back with something else then, and it would be to basically enshrine red flag laws, universal background checks, and all kinds of other Hitlerian shit into our state constitution then. And like I said, as a two-way rights organization, as a constitutionalist, I will be goddamned if I let these fucking pieces of shit ever fuck with my state constitution while I'm still alive in this fucking state, dude. Like, honestly, if you want to talk about what'll go to fucking war right now, if you want to talk about what's going to start the Second American Civil War in this country and the balkanization effect, it's going to be shit like this right here, man. These fucking scumbag orgs right now who are all like, oh, you need to vote no in August. No, you need to vote yes in August to make sure that Ohio becomes the 42nd state that actually has a fucking 3/5 majority threshold to change our state constitution. And yes, it should be all 88 counties you have to go to in the state to get voters from to pass any kind of initiative as a ballot initiative. Not fucking 44 like you douchebags have done forever is what it is. And that's the thing, right? It's not even, I think it's not even 5% of the 44 right now. It's like 3% of 44 or something like that you have to get from. And so what they're doing is they're making it harder to gather signatures to even get this shit in the thing. That's how it should be anyway. Like I talked about before, dude. There's a reason when you look at the U.S. Constitution, for God's sakes, something that every single politician, something that every single civil servant in this country takes note to uphold, they take office. Most of them break it almost immediately after that, obviously, especially the Democrat Party and a lot of rhinos too, for that matter. You have these people who want to change our actual U.S. Constitution, but they know they can't do it. You know that Gavin Newsom can't do that shit because you have to have a 38 state, more than 3/5 majority set of states to come together for a convention of states to actually do something like that, to ratify the Constitution. Now, obviously, you could have Congress do, I believe it's a 3/5 majority as well on that one, so it's like 60% there is what it would be then as well. If they would come together, if they want to do an amendment or something like that, or change another, like change a part of the Constitution already, or whatever the case be, like amended amendment is what it would be then. Whether it be 2nd, 4th, 5th, 6th, 10th, 12th, 15th, whatever it is, 25th, something like that. If they want to do that, they could come together and, change it that way through congressional voting and stuff, but they don't have the votes there either is what it is anytime in the last like 40, 50 years of history is what it would be then. That's why the last time you actually saw the U.S. Constitution changed or amended or whatever the case be, it was when you had the Civil Rights Movement back in Martin Luther King's day in the late 60s, early 70s then, because it wasn't until the 1970s, I think it was like 70, 71, 72, something like that, or it was even 73 now I'm thinking about it, was when the last one for the 26th Amendment was added then. And then since then, you've had obviously the 27th Amendment added after that then, which I think was like 94 or something, or 93 maybe. It was like Bill Clinton's administration or something was the last time we had anything there. So again, it's been, pretty much close to 30 years, if not 30 years or more then, since the last time we amended our actual U.S. Constitution then for something or added anything to it, would be then. And again, that's how it should be, man. You should not be changing things willy fucking nilly. And this is the thing. If you actually want to do something, if you actually want to change something in the state constitution, have the General Assembly do it, become an advocate, become an activist, become a fucking whatever the fucking case be, to go in there and rally for the actual bills, submit a piece of legislation to them. Because here's the thing, man, almost no politicians in the state of this country actually write their own legislation. They're all handed legislation by people. It's why you keep seeing every single time anti-gun legislation comes through the state of Ohio or any place else for that matter, whether it be a red flag law, universal background check, magazine ban, whatever the case be, it doesn't matter, honestly. Every single time, it's always the same copy and paste bullshit from every town, from Moms Demand Action, etc. From Giffords, all these people like that, dude. It's all the crap they created like 10, 15 years back. They update a little bit with like rewording and stuff like that, or they update a little bit with like, oh, this one's for West Virginia. Let's go ahead and X out West Virginia, put Ohio here now. If that's what it is then. Or this one was for Kentucky. Let's X out and put Ohio here now. And that's what it is. And it's a little copy and paste document that they throw out there as a template is what it is then. They print it off and put a new name into it is what it is for the state then. And they almost never update anything for it. It's why when you look at most of the assault ban things they try to push through as well, dude, it's stuff from the fucking 90s. It's things that haven't been updated for over 30 fucking years in this country. Or at least 29 years anyway, since it first began in 1994 to 2004 then. And this is the whole problem, dude. It's these old motherfuckers. It's these scumbag ass, pieces of shit globalists that are behind all this. It's these lying ass leftists that claim that they're grassroots when they're not. They're all backed by Soros and Bloomberg and other fucking billionaire dark money is what it is. It's them being paid off in one way or another, whether it be, oh, here's $100,000 for improvements to your church, or oh, here's $100,000 to help out a bunch of people and make a bunch more beds for your rehab or whatever it is. And that's why these organizations are joining this Vote No campaign. It's because they are being bought and paid for. Because they are poor. Because that's the thing, right? When you create something like that, this nonprofit or whatever, dude, it takes a lot of fucking money and donations to actually build up something there to make it worthwhile and keep it functioning. So of course, if you have, some billionaire douchebag like a Michael Bloomberg or George Soros or an Alex Soros or, one of the Rothschild family members or whatever it is there, just come to you, or one of their proxy guys, like, some dude named Philip Morris or something like that. It's like a proxy for the Rothschild family. Come to you with a checkbook and be like, oh, we're willing to donate $2 million to your organization. We just need you to sign this paperwork here to be on board with this Vote No campaign. Those people are going to be like, hell yeah, and just fucking snap up in a second. Just sign that shit away, dude. And then get the check is what it is. Because that's the problem with America. And that's the problem with this whole entire world right now is greed. And there's a reason why greed is a 7 deadly sin. Because it's probably the worst of the deadly sins right now. And it's when you look at all this stuff with these kids they're trying to do, they're trying to gender transition these kids and sterilize them permanently with hormone drugs and everything else like that. Which, by the way, is part of this actual November ballot initiative that these leftists are trying to put through for abortion stuff. It's abortion. It's also sterilization of children is what it is, man. Where you could have kids go sterilize themselves under the age of 18 without parental consent, it would be then. And that is exactly why I will never let this happen. Because there's no fucking way I'm letting these sick fucks get a hold of my niece, my nephew, any of my younger family members in the state of Ohio and fuck with their heads enough to where they'd want to do that stuff. Hell, I've already lost one younger cousin who's in her 20s who now claims to be a trans man. We lost that kid 3 years ago back in 2020. And now they're living life as a trans man. I'll be damned if I let it happen again, dude. Ashley was a good kid. And now she's all fucked up, dude. And it goes directly to her being in college at the time there. It was all these people that were around her that were all like, oh yeah, you should totally transition. You're totally a guy now. No, you're not. You never will be. Hate to tell you, honey. You never will be. You permanently alter your body, though. You've had double mastectomy. So you can never, fully go back, unfortunately. Actually, I was supposed to see her this past Saturday at my cousin's wedding, but unfortunately she never showed, though. So, I don't know. But anyway, it's just sad either way, man. It really does sadden me. to see what happened to this kid, because they were a good kid, honestly. And yeah, it's just they went down that fucked up pathway, and these people were able to get to him, man. So, anyway. But yeah, needless to say, this is why we need to make sure that issue 1 passes with a yes vote in August 8th. Vote yes on issue 1 for real. If you give a shit about the Ohio Constitution, if you give a shit about gun rights or, human life or anything else for that matter in the state of Ohio, vote yes on issue 1. Stop the left from being able to commit more terrorism by fucking with our state constitution. Stop them from being able to enshrine child murder on demand into our state constitution. Stop them from being able to take away our gun rights in the future through ballot initiatives into our state constitution with a 50% plus 1 vote. Up it to 60% voter threshold. Up it to all counties in Ohio having to be on board with it, not just half of them. Enough is enough of this shit. It's time to get things done, and it's time to get it done now. Because here's the thing. We at Ohio Patriot Education Network, we're not afraid to sue the fuck out of these people, man. If issue 1 doesn't pass and that somehow that Bibi Kelly amendment passes in November, I have no problem with bringing multiple lawsuits against these people, starting with direct lawsuits against Planned Parenthood and these fucking Ohio bitches that are all a bunch of fucking pro-choice people, dude. I have absolutely no problem with bringing lawsuits directly towards these organizations there and suing these fuckers into non-existence then, because I'm sick of it. I'm over it. And on that same vein of things, all these leftists did, and this is the funny thing to me, right? So they made that stupid ass site to show everybody who was against the campaigns what it was for issue 1. All they did right now is give people like me a roadmap of who the fuck to sue in the future, man. They gave the right and the center a giant roadmap of exactly who to get lawyers for and who to directly sue for things and take these people to task. And it's as simple as that, really. But yeah, seriously, fuck the Democrats. Vote yes on issue 1. Save Ohio's Constitution once and for all. Stop the left from committing terrorism in this state ever again. Stop the left's insurrections going on for the last 8 months now. Enough is enough of it. It's time to get shit done. End of story. I'll be back later tonight with Honda and them, probably on Rumble. Not sure if I'll do the Freedom Friday here on Sunday or if I'll just wait a few days for that. Basically, the gist of that that episode is going to be General Assembly as of this past week. I think it was Wednesday. Are out for the summer break now. They're basically going to be gone for about the next 2.5 months or so until September 13th. And then we'll be coming back then. And hopefully we'll be able to get Second Preservation Act passed then out of committee and into the State House for votes onto the floor there. And then it'll be able to go over to the State Senate and they'll be able to get that through real quick. And it'll be by the end of the year, hopefully we'll have a Second Preservation Act in place then here in Ohio. Fingers crossed. Fingers crossed that happens. Obviously, Ohio Gunners is our, big, the big guys that are working on that right now for us. They're, I don't know if I'd call Chris Dorr a friend or not. I don't think he is, honestly, because he tried to fuck me over when I was doing grassroots stuff for that years ago, because he couldn't make money on it, obviously, at the time, and then he tried to make money off of it now is what it is, with campaigning and everything else like that then for their Ohio Gunners organization. But, I'm not going to sit here and say that Ohio Patriot Education Network won't work with Ohio Gunners, because they will, obviously. We're on the same side. We're all for the same thing. We all want SOPA to be a thing at this point, honestly. And the big thing is, it's like, I would have rather had it now, honestly. But as long as it can be done, it can be done. And the fact that it's Chris Dorr and company there, they're the ones that are, able to get to Columbus there and be able to talk to these state lawmakers and stuff like that and get them on board and be able to have discussions with them about, like, this is why we need to pass this to stop, federal gun bans like that piece of shit Biden keeps trying to push as well all the time with AWBs. They're unconstitutional as fuck. We never hold muster as well. I'd like to point something out, by the way. Back in 1994, when Dianne Feinstein and Joe Biden himself were senators, and they tried to create the assault was ban in 94 when they were putting that together, there was multiple court challenges to that. The only reason that they ever passed out of certain courts is because it was a bunch of Bill Clinton appointed judges who were knocking the shit down in these court cases. If it wasn't for those asshole Clinton appointees, if there had been other judges in those judge roles, you would have had that stuff go to the Supreme Court back in like 94, 95, 96, 97, somewhere in there. And it would have been knocked out of the park within 4 years of it being put in place then, because it was unconstitutional back then for a decade. And there's a reason why it's sunset clause in 2004, obviously, with AWB, because, again, they knew it was unconstitutional, and you had them basically be like, oh, we just want to collect data now. It's like, no, what you really wanted to do was you wanted to fuck people out of their gun range for a decade of their lives under feel-good legislation that did nothing, so you could sit there decades later now and falsely claim that it reduced violence and stuff at the time, so-called gun violence at the time, even though it did nothing like that, dude. You already had violence on the decline like fucking crazy. You already had firearms-related fucking homicides on the decline like crazy back then. The only thing that happened back then is you actually had still mass shootings happen then, because you had fucking Columbine happen back in 99. You had one before that in 98 who was done by, I think it was a 13-year-old and 12-year-old. And the reason I remember that one so well is because I think it was Missouri or Mississippi, maybe, that happened in there. But the reason I remember that specifically is because the teacher who came out was talking about the students that did it and stuff. He was like, oh, yeah, these kids today, we need to do something about these kids and mental health and stuff like that. Fun fact about that teacher guy, if you ever watched the movie, I'm trying to remember what the actress's name is now. It had Ellen Page was the girl at the time before, they became a trans person now, whatever. And they were the main lead chick in that, who was the one tortured to death in these people's basement. And I forget who the actual chick, what the woman's name is, that was the mother in that movie. It was the one that played the Steve Carell's chick in the 40-Year-Old Virgin movie. But anyway, so basically that was a real story. It was some girl named like Sylvia, I'm not mistaken, or something like that. And it was basically about this family that adopted her, or I don't know if they adopted or like fostered these kids is what it was. But basically their family gave them to their parents gave them to this family because they couldn't raise them and stuff like that, because they didn't have money to, feed them and stuff like that. So they gave them to this woman and her kids. And this woman and her kids would literally beat these two girls mercilessly. And the older one that Ellen Page played, they fucking tortured this girl in the basement. And the guy who was the teacher in that school in 98 that was talking about kids' mental health was the motherfucking son of this woman, who should have been in prison as an adult for the rest of his damn life at the age of like 12 or 13, because he was torturing this girl by putting cigarettes out on her ass. And it's like, bro, like, how the fuck are you going to speak about anything, dude? How the hell are you going to have a teacher's license in this fucking country when you were a literal child Satanist, basically? You were a fucking sadomasochistic piece of shit. You want to talk about somebody that needs mental health, bro? It's your ass. Like, seriously. And now here we are, like, was it 25, 30 years later almost now? But yeah, it's funny to me that you have that dude basically coming out of the woodwork like that. And it turned out he was actually one of the people that was involved in that whole thing and that murder of that girl back in the 70s. Or late 60s, I forget which one it was. It was someplace in there. But anyway. Yeah, unfortunately, that was back in the time where you had the whole, like, don't ask, don't tell stuff of, like, neighbors and stuff, where it's like, oh, you heard people screaming, you're just like, oh, yeah, just leave it. Just don't call the cops, it's fine. Like, that's the problem with that generation back in them days, by the way. And that was the people that were the parents of, like, the silent generation people. So whatever the hell that was, like World War I type of motherfuckers then. But anyway, just a bunch of scumbags in general, dude. But yeah, either way, interesting tidbit there. That's what I want to talk about there. But yeah, you had those two school massacres happen, and then you had a couple other ones happen too before 2004. And then of course it was then of course you got Democrats taking over and doing all kinds of shady shit and doing, hardcore militarization of cops under Obama's administration. And then in the meantime, a couple years later, they try to defund the cops, and you have all this, various crazy ass violence. You got the Soros DAs letting everybody off the hook and stuff like that in these various cities. And then you wonder what's the real problem is. And it's like, yeah, it's because you're not actually enforcing law and order, dude. And honestly, this is my problem when it comes to what was Biden's 94 crime bill, because obviously that was very much race based at the time. And the worst part of it was very much against, like, marijuana and stuff like that. So you give people like life sentence for weed is what it was back in them days. What it should have been is you should basically have, this is my opinion personally, what we should have as a thing in this country is it should be a 1 to 5 strike kind of law. And it would be basically, the reason I say 1 to 5 strikes and not, 3 strikes or whatever the case be, is because there are certain things that are so heinous and so reprehensible that they should be immediate death penalty sentences of 1 strike law, basically. And that includes child molestation, that includes, mass murder, innocent people and stuff like that, et cetera, et cetera. And so you would have that be like 1 strike, and you have a couple of things be like 2 strikes, and then you have like a 3 strike set, and then it'll be all the way up to 5 strikes. And it's like, yeah, if you can't, you know, and of course, that same time we'd be doing rehabilitation of people and stuff, or at least trying to rehabilitate as much as possible, actually give these people the ability to do something while they're in prison to get a better life when they come out of prison, and not just be a repeat offender is what it'd be then, recidivism rate like crazy and going back in jail within 3 years or whatever the case be. It'd be like, no, here's a trade we're going to teach you in prison because you're never going to get out in 3, 5 years, whatever it is. And if they can get back on the straight and narrow, good. They won't be part of that 5 strikes anymore is what it is then. And then you would have the ones that are going to keep rehabilitating and stuff like that, or not rehabilitate, they're going to keep re-offending and stuff like that. You would pretty much have them on that strike program, then is what it would be. And if nothing else, if they do something super heinous like murder and stuff like that, it's like, nope, you're just done now. Like, child rape and murder, we just draw the line at that point then, and you're done. You're done forever. And be done with it then. And if we did that kind of, I believe, truthful legislation, you would be a much better off country right now. And we could do things the correct way, and we'd actually have reinforced law and order in this country, and you wouldn't have people, the same gang or the same gangbangers, etc., out and about doing the same fucking shootings every day in these neighborhoods and these various major cities and stuff like that. You wouldn't have them looting and ransacking stores everywhere and just stealing everything. And really, unfortunately, a lot of it has to do, depending on states, obviously, you have to get rid of a lot of these Democrat politicians like Newsom and et cetera there, or Jared Polis, or any people like that from like California, Colorado, whatever it is, who are the one passing these bullshit ass laws to incentivize criminality and retail theft. Because it's like, yeah, when you have California at $950 and you don't even get a misdemeanor, you got Colorado at like $650, you don't get a misdemeanor there either. And then you wonder why, these people are basically robbing stores out of existence. And you wonder why places like San Francisco, California specifically, has like everybody and their brother packing up shop now. It's like, yeah, dude, because these Walgreens, Walmarts, CVS pharmacies, whatever it is, AMC theaters, etc., there can't deal with the rampant theft of their fucking businesses, man. They physically can't do it anymore. They can't lose money. And when you're causing them to have, negative profit margins because you're a dumbass, like, why the fuck would they stay there? Why the fuck would Whole Foods stay in a place where you have like 1,000 fucking calls to the one location there in California, I believe it was San Francisco area, in the time span of like a year? It's insane. It's absolute psychotic lunacy. It's people thinking that you're going to solve a problem when you keep doing the same insane shit over and over again. So, anyway, that being said, I'm actually surprised. There was one video I saw recently. It was a girl in Los Angeles area, and it was like a Nike store or some kind of, if I'm not mistaken, or some kind of shoe store. She had walked in there and buy some shoes for herself, is what it was. And meanwhile, you had like 4 or 5 dudes. If I'm not mistaken, I believe she was black, and so were they, is what it was. And they walked in there, pulled out some trash bag, throwing them out or whatever, started pulling a bunch of shoes into them and just robbing the place, basically. Meanwhile, she's over there paying for her shoes, and it's like, I get you'd want to go back into these places probably in the future, but the thing is, it's like, if they're already being robbed out of existence, dude, like, why wouldn't you just grab that pair and run too? Like, it's not like you're going to stop you, just joining on the fucking looting is what it'd be at that point, honestly. So, like I said, it's probably because they want to actually go back in and not be, held account or whatever. But the thing about it is, it's like, the whole thing there, it's like, yeah, if they keep doing that shit anyway, it's not going to exist in like, 6 months to a year when you need another pair of shoes anyway. So it's like, what the hell's the point then? And unfortunately, it leads to stuff like I just mentioned there, where you got people that are like, oh, well, if everybody else is stealing, I might as well steal too, if that be the case then. And yeah, that's what leads to the denigration of society, unfortunately. And that's exactly what we're seeing right now. And I think it's exactly where we're heading towards a balkanization event in this country, where you're going to have very hard right-wing states, is what it is, very red states in this country, who are going to go into, hey, we're going to drop the hammer on people for like nothing, theft and stuff like that, or even do like, digit loss laws and stuff like that, where you start, lopping shit off, if that be the case. And then meanwhile, you have these blue states basically let everything happen then and burn around them. And meanwhile, it's going to be the, elitists and stuff like that, like your Newsom types at the top there, who are just going to be like, ha ha ha, fuck all y'all, I'm in my private security mansion here, is what it is. So, yeah. I think it'll be very much, in a lot of cases, like what parts of India look like currently, where you have like this weird little it's like a weird little wall of like metal or whatever there. It's almost like a metal fence or something. And you have the one side, it's these little poor ass ghetto slums. And then the other side, it's like these giant tall skyscrapers that are just like $1 million apartment buildings and stuff like that. So you have people living in squalor where they're, shitting in a little fucking human river is what it is there. And then the other side of it, you have people who are multimillionaires looking over, and when they look down, they see that fucking little slums is what it is there. People, they're all poor. And unfortunately, I think that's what's gotten more and more the longer we go down the pathway we're going right now in this country. And in some cases, I believe you're definitely going to see states enact states' rights against some stuff where you may actually have walls built in between states that would be then, like right on state borders and things like that, where you just have like a pack of states that were like red states or whatever, like Ohio and Kentucky and things like that. And we just like build a wall here is what it would be. And then the other side of it, you'd have like Illinois and shit then, or Wisconsin or something like that then. And you'd have, various turrets on everything is what it would be then. So anyway, I hope that's not what it looks like in the future. I really do. But unfortunately, I think it's something that needs to be talked about just because it could be a reality at some point. So anyway, but either way, that's pretty much where we're at for the day though. Like I said, I'll be back tonight with Honda, and then I don't know if I'll be doing anything else today on this channel or not. Probably not. Probably just do. I think we're going to be doing the Gay Frogs tonight, if I'm not mistaken, because Honda is back from his California trip then. So hopefully we'll be doing the Gay Frog on Rumble chat then, and go from there. Then we'll be shooting the shit then for the first time in over a week now, since he was gone last week. And obviously I took over last week. That first one wasn't the greatest, unfortunately, because we didn't have everything together. But Tuesday I think went very well for us. Leo said to me in the back chat that Tuesday's chat was very good, and he enjoyed himself a lot better than the one on Sunday. And like I said, I think it's because I actually put up some stories to talk about it for Tuesday's one. So, but anywho, I will be back here on this channel probably tomorrow or Tuesday for the 4th of July. I'm not sure which. I think we'll do a 4th of July chat if that'd be the case. Or it won't be like a Grandstand or whatever the case be. It'll be like Freedom Tuesday or something. Or maybe that's what I'll do the Freedom Friday. I'll do the Freedom Friday on Tuesday for a 4th of July special or something if that'd be the case. So, and then we'll discuss, what the 4th is really about and how the founding of this country is tied directly to it, is what it is then. But anyway, till then, I will see you guys in the next one, and we will be discussing probably 4th of July stuff, or we'll be back here tonight with Honda and them on the Rumble chat, and we'll be discussing whatever then on that for various topics and whatnot. So either way, if you see me on that, we'll probably be on that tonight if Honda decides to have one, or if nothing else, I'll be back on Tuesday on this channel. Until later, that's about all we got to say. Hope you guys enjoy this episode, and I'll see you all on the next one. Later.